Okay, class. Lesson 6. I'm going to start on page 195, but you need to start earlier at the beginning of the lesson. But I'm going to pick up on page 195, exploring the default electric guitar track effects. Each electric guitar track includes a complete amp model and one or more stomp box pedal effects. In the real world, amplifiers come in a variety of shapes, colors, and sizes, and each model has its own signature sound and effects. Stomp boxes are so named because they are placed on the floor within reach of the musicians, so they can quite literally stomp on them to turn them on or off as needed. A light tap of the toe also works, but is much less dramatic on stage. GarageBand amp models and pedal board plug-in effects sound and respond just like the real thing. No extra equipment, cables, or stomping required. You've seen a picture of a real amp and stomp boxes. Now let's experiment with GarageBand's digital electric guitar effects. So the first thing that we're going to do, page 196, is to select the Guitar 14 track and take a look at the instrument and patch in the library. Guitar 14, that's that first one up top. And I'm going to go ahead and mute the drummer for right now. Alright, so let's listen to it real quick. Alright, it says, aha, didn't I mention it sounded clean? The instrument category is clean guitar and the patch is Brit and clean. Doesn't get much cleaner than that. In case you are curious what the default Brit and clean amp looks like, see for yourself. At the top of the library, you'll see the track icon for the selected patch, which is an amplifier in the spotlight center stage. Not only do the GarageBand amp models simulate the sound of famous guitar amplifiers, they also look like the real thing. And if you look at this, this is actually a simulation of a Vox AC30 amplifier. Yeah, one of the greatest amplifiers out there. Number 2 on page 197. It says press B or click the Smart Control buttons to see the default effect settings for clean guitar, Brit, and clean patch. So I'm pressing B now. And this is what it looks like actually on the top of the amplifier, right up here by the handles. It's got all of the knobs that control the volume, the tone, and whatnot. If you look carefully at the screen controls, knobs, and switches, you'll see that all of the switches are turned off except for the spring reverb. That switch is turned on, but it's set to a very light amount of reverb. Number 3, start playback and then drag up the spring reverb knob to change the amount to 9 or 10. Then turn on the echo switch and raise the amount on that one too. So I'm going to go ahead and cycle this. I can just press the top there, or I can press C for cycle, or I can come up here to the cycle button and press that one as well. Dragging that out, it looks like it goes all the way to 9. I'm going to leave it right there. You press return to return to 0, press spacebar to play, and I'm going to be turning up this spring reverb. I'm going to turn the volume up too. Alright, so you can kind of tell that it sounds like it's a little bit like in a cave, if you will, because all that sound is being bounced around, and it's causing just a very long type of decay. In these old amps like this, they use a spring in order to run that sound through. And you know how springs work, they start to vibrate, and what happens is that they continue to vibrate, and that sound continues to go on and on and on. You heard as soon as I cut that off, you can kind of hear it. It almost echoes in a way. Like if you plucked a spring, you can kind of hear it like that. So I'm going to show that to you again. I'm going to return to 0. Okay, listen to this when I stop it. It's not doing it, but you can listen to it on your own. We also want to raise the amount of echo. So let me press play again and start to raise the amount of echo. First of all, pardon me, we need to turn that echo switch on. So turning that on, I'm going to start all the way down at 0 and then start to raise it. Alright, so you can hear it starts to echo. Echo is a type of delay effect, and we'll get into delay effects later on in this lesson as well. Continuing with number 3 on page 197, it says you should definitely hear the change in the effects you just adjusted. Your settings may not sound good, no they don't, but they will be audible, and that's the important thing right now, that you can hear what those effects do. If you want to compare your changes to the default preset settings, you can click the Compare button. When a preset has been modified, the button glows blue. When it is turned off, you can see the default preset setting. So let's try. Let's try. So that's what we have right now. When I press Compare, that's what it's going to go back to the original setting. Alright, so you hear the difference. Moving on over to page 198. Number 5 says click the Compare button again. When it glows blue, it shows your custom settings. So let's go ahead and click that again. Yes, you see our knobs moved. I'm going to click it off, and you look over here at the echo and reverb knobs. When I click it off, it goes back to the original position where you see echo. The switch is off, and it's set up to straight up at number 5. Spring reverb is on, set to 2.5, but when I compare it with what we changed it to, we got everything full blown at 10, both switches on. Next, you'll add some distortion and compressor effects, but wait, don't click anything yet. You see, the effects grouped together on the left side of the smart controls are controlled by the amp model settings. In this case, it's the British combo amp. Like I said before, it's a Vox simulator. Whereas the controls grouped together in the middle are controlled by the pedal board plug-in. I won't tell you where the reverb is coming from. You'll discover that on your own shortly. So we're going to pick that up in the next video.